So let us know how you are feeling about Module 2. I know some of you must have gone through Module 2. How do you feel about Module 2? Is it insightful? Is it inspiring? Just let us know with an emoji in the comment section. Let's see how you feel about Module 2. So quickly, let us remind us who we are at AFC. So at AFC, we believe that small and medium-scaled enterprises are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. These enterprises are driven by visionary, dynamic, and innovative entrepreneurs who operate as primary producers, aggregators, processors, distributors, finance and technology providers, chefs, cooks, consultants, and innovators. We call them makers. It means you are a change maker. To even participate in the BRACE program at all, you are a change maker. So these change makers are faced with the devastating impact of climate change, global and local risks and shocks, and macro and microeconomic challenges. These entrepreneurs need funding, they need training, visibility, market linkages, and a community of support to successfully scale their businesses. Through the African Food Changemakers Hub, we enable African entrepreneurs to start and scale resilient and sustainable agribusinesses that nourish Africa and the world at large. So how we do this is by community, by data and opportunities, visibility and recognition, as well as learning and trainings. So quickly, we'll just go into the participant sharing session. This is the time where you have the opportunity to tell us about your key learning in Module 2. So we'll just give maybe one or two persons the opportunity to share with us, only people that have gone through the module. So if you have not gone through the module, please don't raise your hand. So if you have gone through the module, please raise your hand, and then we'll allow you to share your key learning from Module 2. Please, let's make it very snappy. I see that the hand is already raised. So I will just, Abdullahi Umar, please unmute and go ahead. So Abdullahi Umar, I'm asking you to unmute and go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon. This is Abdullahi Umar from Kaduna State, Nigeria, and Presidential Graduate Association of Nigeria. Honestly, Module 2 is superb. I just commented on it. In fact, it has enhanced my knowledge of carbon farming. I've been looking for this opportunity to learn carbon farming. In fact, I have gotten a lot of knowledge, and the major differences we have between carbon farming and conservative farming. In fact, I have seen a lot. I've learned a lot on even regenerative agriculture, and in fact, currently I've started telling my members how we can diversify and go into regenerative practice to enhance our soil. Because here in northern Nigeria, our soils are dying. The soils are becoming more prone to climate change. So it has really helped me. Thank you very much, AFC. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for contributing. Don't you want to finish Module 2 now? So for those of you that have not started Module 2, have you heard that there's so much to learn from Module 2? So quickly go and start and complete Module 2 if you have not started at all, because I know there are some of you in this session that have not completed Module 2, but it's fine. Okay, Abdullah Kim Sarman is raising the hand. Please unmute and go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Module 2 is a step away from Module 1, and I learned about the climate smart agricultural activities, which namely are regenerative farming practice, precision farming, and also carbon farming. It's quite really interesting because I got exposed to some precision farming aspects, which entails dealing with using technology, leveraging on technology, and also trying to make sure that resource utilization is done efficiently. So
is it just me? I cannot hear Salman anymore.
Okay, please, can you still hear me?
Okay, yes. You're back,
Yes.
please.
Oh, so sorry, please. Yes, let me just wrap it.
I've stopped hearing you again. Is it my network or it's yours? Okay, so we have, okay, we'll just give this other person the chance to speak, and we'll go ahead to the speaker session. So leader Olus, please go ahead and tell us what you learned from Module 2. Leader Olus, I'm asking you to unmute and speak to us.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, yes, please, I can hear you.
Good afternoon, I've the country, the Aulas from Uganda, and from here I have learned a lot from this model, like green farming, soilless farming, precision farming. So I know at the end of this model I will learn a lot, and my skills are improving. So thank you for the program, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your contribution, and thanks for everyone that have contributed. So if you've not completed or you've not even started at all Module 2, please, there's still the time to go through Module 2 and learn all of these things that other people have learned as well. So quickly, we'll go to the speakers presentation because we have 3 speakers today. We don't want to waste too much time. We'll quickly go to the speakers presentation. And so my first speaker for today is Dr. Philip Ifejika. He's an Assistant Director of Research and Extension, NIFFR, Niger State, Nigeria. So he's actually the Assistant of Fisheries Research and Extension Officer and has 23 years of working experience in fishery and aquaculture research, extension and outreach, training and communication with the National Institute for Freshwater Fish Research, NIFFR, New Busan, Niger State, Nigeria. Dr. Ifejika has worked with public and private NGOs and farmers groups and has engaged in mentoring and coaching of youths. He had implemented projects in Nigeria and ECOWAS sub-regions like Senegal, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Sierra Leone. He was the immediate past Vice President, Aquaculture of the Fisheries Society of Nigeria, FISON, and Niger State Chairman of FISON. He is a fellow of AESON, FFRC, WUSI China, and CORAF. So if you are excited to have Dr. Philip to speak to you this afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, please let's put our hands together in the comment section while I leave the virtual podium for Dr. Philip. Hello, Doctor. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hope you can hear me.
Very well, sir, clearly.
Okay. Okay, once again, I want to greet all of us that are present. I think about 200 and something people that are participating, and the host organization. You have done the introduction, so I'll go direct to the presentation. The topic today is on adaptation and mitigation strategies in fishery. But I put aquaculture production because aquaculture is the main focus. You know, in fishery, we have artisanal and aquaculture. And aquaculture is the main issue that is driving many people are engaged. Even though in artisanal it is there, but many people are more engaged in aquaculture. So that's why I'll focus more on aquaculture. I hope, is anybody showing my slide? Show my slide from there, please.
All right, I'm doing that now, sir.
Okay. So we'll go to outline of a presentation. Okay, this is the go to second outline of presentation. So in outline of presentation, we have one definition, and that we discuss adaptation. Then we have another why aquaculture. Then the issue of we discuss mitigation at its concern. Here are two popular fish in Nigeria. We have tilapia, we have catfish. Next slide. Next slide, please. I will not want to bore us much on issue of definition because you people have been discussing about climate change. I believe previous presenters must have defined it, but just for emphasis, climate change refers to long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns due to natural and human actions, which releases green gas and CO2, carbon dioxide. The key issue is what? There has been a change globally in climate change, which is the global and then weather condition, even in our environment. As we're talking now, those who are in Nigeria, we know that we are in top heat period now, which is abnormal, even in my location. So, and these things are being called natural that are induced beyond our control and the human actions. And this human action, that's where aquaculture comes in when we talk of human action. Under the natural, you can think of wind, flooding, and so many other things. So now, when we talk about adaptation, what are we referring to? We are dealing with the consequences of this climate change. How does this climate change affect what we do? And side one is what? It releases of CO2, carbon dioxide, and methane gas, which leads to global warming. Data has shown that the weather has changed everywhere. And because of this, there has been increase in high temperature. And it leads again to what? High temperature. There's excessive heat. Another one is issue of high water temperature. Water bodies are now high. The temperature is high, which affects growth and reproductive activities of aquatic organisms, both plant and animals that live in water. Another issue of adaptation is drought. Because of the heat, there's low rainfall, and because of low rainfall or variation, then there's drought, drying of lands, and so many other things, which is abnormal. If those who are in Nigeria last year, between June, July, there was no rainfall. Many farmers experienced drought in almost all the country, even to the point that those who did early planting, their plants were dying, and they lost those plants, maize and some other crops. Then another consequence of adaptation is water scarcity. Because of the high temperature, water is scarce because the water tables are now low, and because there's low water table, which affects what? Availability of water. Even in countries that warning people about borehole and the rest of them. Then another issue is rising sea levels, because this climate change also contributes to issue of coastal erosion. And when coastal erosion, the highland areas are being washed away. Then the lowland areas makes it easy for what? For flooding to happen. In Nigeria, it's a common issue. We see it every year, local, many places. And then, which is caused by also rainfall. Then melting of polar ice, which is more in Europe. Then storm, wind, because of cutting of trees and the rest of them, there is excessive wind, which affects activities of human beings, both in fish and other things. Sometimes houses are being, the roof are being destroyed and the rest of them. Then this declining biodiversity in the water body because of the issue of these sedimentations and some the habitat where fish stay. The fish does not grow, multiplication does not take place. So there's low fish catch in the water bodies, particularly for the fishers who went to catch fish. There are low fish catch. All these things are contributing to it. And then severe fire, which because of the dryness, bush burning, and the rest of them. So all these things are some of the consequences of adaptation as a result of climate change. Next slide. Next slide. Then back to the major issue, aquaculture and mitigation strategies. Why are we going to talk of aquaculture? One, aquaculture, in a simple term, which is the growing of aquatic fish and plants in an enclosure, is an enterprise. People are engaging in it in different areas in all parts of Nigeria. If you go to the southwest, south, in middle belt, you come to Ilori, come to Niger State, Benue, Abuja. These are flat points where aquaculture is very, very high. And it's creating income, livelihood, until the recent change in our country economic policy, which is affecting rural economies like aquaculture. But why are we talking of aquaculture? In aquaculture, people engage in fingerling production, which we call hatchery, which is the major source of seed for farmers who want to grow fish to to bigger size. Then another issue is what? Issue of grow out. If you buy fingerling, you have to stock it in your pond to grow to a bigger size. These are where many people are involved. And it's these people who are engaged in table size culture that drive fingerling production and fish feed production, which they use to feed the fish. Then another activity in aquaculture that we have concerned is fish smoking. It is people who culture fish, when they grow at table size, people buy it, smoke it, package it, and which they sell, which is everywhere in the market. All these activities, they have direct and indirect relationship with climate change, because one is why aquaculture also contributes to that climate change. One, because of the intensive system. What is intensive system? The high use of pelletized feed, which people are using. These fish, when they feed them to fish, they dissolve in fish, and when they dissolve in fish, reactions take place, and they produce what? Methane and nitrous oxide, which causes pollutes the water. Another one is in pond management. Water that is being used, when they miss the aeration, nitrogen and all those things, they react ammonia, and then they release CO2 and methane too through this process. Then sedimentation. Sedimentation is unused fish feed. They sediment on the bottom of the feed and bring about habitat destruction. The other one is drug that people use, which all this, by the time they add in water, they interact and mix with water and then create problem because there's chemical reaction. Then another source of aquaculture which contributes to climate change is what? Pollution. Because the water that is being used is being discharged into the water body or some other places. They also cause pollution. And once you add something into water, you change the natural water. And then that's issue of water quality becomes important. Because once the water quality is not there, the oxygen level that's supposed to be here, when the temperature is too high, for instance, under fingerling production, high temperature will affect water quality and makes it to be high in ammonia and the rest, which is not good for fingerling production. And that is why in Nigeria, because of high temperature now, in the northern part of Nigeria, most fingerling producers don't produce because the water is not stable for them. But if you go to the south, where the weather is a little bit friendly, they are still producing fingerling. So you see how temperature rise in high temperature affects the water quality and the water availability for fingerling production. If you go to table size fish culture, if you put a fish in water, the water qualities are issues. If now high temperature, if you go to most places, their pond is too high. So they need to top the water and increase the water level. Because when the water quality is there, the oxygen level will be low. Fish will be suffocating. That's why you see some places, the fish will be gasping on this because they want to get air and all the rest. So you see that aquaculture has direct and indirect impact on what? Climate change. So what do we do? Mitigation refers to action to be taken to save the aquaculture enterprise. Aquaculture is an enterprise because you have invested money. When you put money in something, you are looking for profit. And which means you need to manage it well to be able to what? To get, to make profit and stay in business and then enjoy other things that you are supposed to enjoy. So first and foremost is the action to take is, as a business, one, farmers, those who are into aquaculture should take agricultural insurance policy. It's unfortunate that in agriculture, many people don't see it as a serious case. Insurance policy is there to stay. In 2023, we organized a workshop for fish farmers in Niger State, in Mina. Only about 1 or 2 people are taking insurance policy, and it's not much. Why do you have to take insurance in case of anything that happens? Flooding is there. Fire disaster can happen. There can be mass mortality due to change in water or outbreak of disease. So one of the things actually is taking insurance policy very serious. Another point is use of floating fish feed. Yes, in Nigeria, and I think many places, use of floating fish is very, very high. But most often, you see that most fish farmers, they use floating feed when they buy fingerling and use from up to 3 mm. When by the time they will stock their fish, it will be about 1 to 2 months. After that, they revert to what? Farm-made feed, which is sinking most often. So the floating feed, because you use floating feed, it does not dissolve easily in water, and the fish will be able to take it so that it will reduce pollution of water. So that is one of the things that people should use. There's one feed, which Alpha Plus, which one company they are producing. It's a very good, which from 4 mm that farmers can use instead of using sinking feed. Why is sinking feed a problem? Because most of the ingredients they are using to produce it, both soya beans, clupid, some are now using cassava waste and other things. All these things are toxic by the time they sink into the water, and those that are not utilized, they become a problem to the pond. And that's why sometimes some people will report, you come to a pond today, there's you see 10, 20, 30, 40 fish dying just like that because the water is polluted. Something is wrong. Then another point is what? They have to adopt to integrated stockage culture system. Integrated system is a way to reduce intensive fish feed. Because when you integrate, like you have rice fish, or those for cage culture, you use, people can go to nearby stream or river where the flow is not much. So it will help you to reduce the effect of using high feed and controlling of water quality in those places. Then another mitigation strategy is to adopt polyculture. In this case, you have to culture 2 types of fish in the same pond. For instance, catfish and tilapia, so that they can use different ecosystem water bodies. Catfish is a benthic feeder, while tilapia is a surface feeder. You understand? So, and also, not only that, when you do polyculture, you use less feed because catfish will be feeding on the tilapia, which help you to reduce cost of production. Then another important step is to buy digital water quality testing kits. As a business, you must, without water quality, the person will be in trouble. Even if you are using flow-through system, which some farmers who are in cluster places where they use stream, they operate flow-through. But if not, even at that, you need to buy water testing kit. You can take to test your pH, oxygen, temperature, and other things. This must be daily activity that will help you to know the position of your water. Because when your water is not good, it's polluted, it's going to affect growth, it's going to affect reproduction. And also, it will allow microorganisms to start to grow in the system, which is going to affect the fish. Then another is to invest in weather information and the data. Weather information is not important. It's a variable in production, which every aquaculture farmer or prospector should invest. Like this year now, NIMED have released weather information for various crops and the rest of them. So for you in fish farming, you need weather information to be able to know the trend and pattern of rainfall in your area. And that will help you to know when to stock your fish and when to harvest and the rest of them. Then another one is responsible discharge of wastewater. Wastewater need to be discharged responsibly so that it does not cause environmental pollution or pollution of water bodies within the area. Then another system that is advocated is recirculatory stroke aquaponics system of production. These are, they use energy, that is electricity. And in Nigeria, people have adopted it, but because of electricity, it is very, very low. It's only a few people. If you go to China and other, you see aquaponics, you see recirculatory system. This is a system that utilizes less water and helps to manage water. So this type, this innovation are mitigation strategies. Another point is to plant shade crops like banana, plantains around their pond, so that it will help to reduce heat that is within the pond, and that will help the water to be cool during the heat periods. Then another issue is to water reuse system. Farmers should try to have a way of minimizing waste of water. Try a way to reuse. There's one lady in this my environment, the pond she's using, they are using borehole. Instead of wasting the water, they dug another pond where the water goes to settle. From there, they recycle the water back. So water reuse system is very, very important if to manage climate change effect. The other one is low input plant feed. For instance, like duckweed, people are using duckweed to supplement with conventional feed to reduce costs. Also, another one is issue of use of black soldier fly larvae instead of using clopid. Right? These are alternative. Then the final recommendation, mitigation is stock and harvest early before flooding. You know, presently, flooding is an issue in aquaculture. Why? Because most farmers go to lowland area or places near the streams where they can get water. But some of all these ponds are along waterways. So during flooding, some of them encounter disaster. It's a common thing. Last year, within our area, many fishermen lost millions of naira due to flooding. Even in so many areas, if you go to those in Lapangwari, if you go to people in Wari, in what's the name of this place? In Wari, Aziz, and other places. So because people are looking for where they will get underground water. But some of all these places are what? They are on the waterway. So if you don't have information on the rainy season and the period is start and when, and you stock your fish, and then you want to rear it for a long time, you will fall a victim. But if you have information about the rain pattern and everything, you stock your fish, not just stocking fingerling, you stock juvenile, so that within 3 to 4, 5 months, you must have harvested before flooding will come. Next slide. Hello, next slide. Then conclusion and the recommendation. Climate change is real and has consequences in aquaculture. We have seen it from my explanation. People have lost investment. People are also, through their activities, are also contributing. Aquaculture enterprise contributes to climate change, as I've said, through the use of intensive system feed and other things. They contribute to climate because they release CO2 to the atmosphere. Then aquaculture enterprise is an investment and should be innovative. If you are venturing into aquaculture, should be innovative. It's an investment. You should work smart. Buy tools and equipment that will help you to work smart and overcome those challenges. Then investors in aquaculture should safeguard their investment through mitigation. For instance, I mentioned about taking of insurance policy. It is very, very important. And again, if you are in a waterway, have knowledge, indigenous knowledge of the place where you want to buy land. It will help you. If you don't have knowledge of how water flows in that place and you go and invest in a place that is a waterway, you will have encounter loss. So it's also very, very important. Then they should work with weather information and data. This one don't need to be explained, because without information, information is a factor of production. With information, you get knowledge. With information and participation, you improve your skill and competencies. And with the data, you're able to analyze data, and they help you to guide you to take good decision, informed decision, not just anyhow a decision. Then finally, there's need to follow policies and regulations that will help you to work better. Government have policies. Although it's unfortunate here in Nigeria, we are not all that compliance, but everywhere you go, like one of our friend in South Africa, he told me he has applied to Ministry of Fisheries. He want to start catfish production. They have not given him approval. In Uganda, before you start fish farming, you have to apply. They will come and do inspection before you start your process. They will do environmental impact assessment. But here in Nigeria, we have easy access, easy entry. Nobody bothers you. And that's why issue of policies and regulations are weak in this part. So here you can see example of poultry fish integrated system. Here is a picture of a black soldier fly culture. It is coming up because to reduce cost of clupid. And then here is rice fish. With this, you have it. People where you have water, lowland area, it will reduce climate change and give you more yield. So at this point, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for all of the insights that you have shared with us. Let's celebrate Doctor in the comment section and say thank you. Let's give him some applause in the comment section. Thank you so much, Doctor. So before the question and answer, we'll just allow the other speakers also present, do their presentation so that we can take all of the questions together in order not to waste too much time. So, our next speaker for today is someone that you must have seen if you have gone through Module 2. Someone that maybe the face is familiar if you have gone through the module before. But let me quickly share my screen to read out his bio. All right, so our next facilitator is, for those of you that have gone through the portal already, that have gone through Module 2, you must have seen this face talking to you in the portal and all that. So if you have questions from that module, yes, this is the time to ask your questions. So we have Afeez Adeoye, is a consultant at Sahel Consulting. Afeez is a dairy value chain development expert and holds a master's degree in innovative dairy chain management from Van Al Larenstein University of Applied Science, Netherlands. He holds a bachelor degree in animal physiology from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and a diploma in animal health and production technology from the Federal College of Animal Health and Production Technology, Moore Plantation, Ibadan. Is a Project Management Institute certified project management professional, and he has over the last 5 years been implementing food security and livelihood development projects across the rice and dairy value chain. He is a Systemas de BEM ESTA certified animal welfare officer. Adekunle is currently a consultant with Sahel Consulting, where he provides support on program implementation, strategy development, policy advocacy, stakeholder engagement, and data management. He currently works as a livestock development expert on the Advancing Local Dairy Development in Nigeria program, where he leads the implementation of artificial insemination, infrastructural development, and policy advocacy. He has worked with Royal Aware and the Agricultural Ecosystem Service Trading Initiative on Climate Smart Dairy Initiative development in the Netherlands. Before joining Sahel, he worked with GIZ on the Competitive African Rice Initiative program to provide business advisory support for rice value chain development in Nigeria. So with some resounding applause in the comment section, let us welcome our next speaker, Afeez Adeoye. Good afternoon, Afeez. Hi, Afeez. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Patience. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Afeez Adeoye, and it's my pleasure to be facilitating this session. Are you going to share the screen, or I should share from my end?
Kindly go ahead and share from your end.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Just a moment. All right. Okay, all right. All right, so thank you very much. So I'm very sure that almost everyone should have gone through this particular topic. So I won't do so much on it. So I'll just browse through. We can discuss that later. So we are going to be going through the concept of because if you want to really understand what adaptation and mitigation means in livestock production, there are some concepts that we need to understand first. First thing is we need to understand what sustainability means and how livestock contribute to climate change, and we need to understand what are the impacts of climate change itself, livestock production, and we are going to look at how we can mitigate the impact of climate on livestock. Yeah, so that's all we are going to be looking at today. So the first thing is that we need to understand what sustainability is, because if we are advocating for sustainable livestock production in order for us to be able to produce livestock, while in order for us to reduce our greenhouse gas emission, we need to know what sustainability is and how we can apply it to our enterprise. So the first thing is that for your enterprise to be sustainable, there are some 3 key points that it needs to meet. The first thing is that it must be profitable. So whatever you are doing, anything that you are doing, if it is not profitable either to you or to all the stakeholders that are within the value chain, then it means that it's not sustainable. And number 2 is that it must contribute to the quality of life of humans that are around you. So take, for example, you are producing a product, a livestock product, and the people that are consuming it, it is affecting them negatively, then what you are doing is not sustainable. Or in the process of producing that product, you are actually contributing negatively to the quality of life. Say you have a poultry, and the poultry is emitting some of odor and smell, probably ammonia gas or sulfide gas, and this will not make your enterprise sustainable, because you are affecting the quality of lives of people around you negatively. And the last thing is that it must contribute to the health of the biodiversity around you. So now, if in your own environment, in your space that you produce your livestock, the biodiversity in the soil are suffering, if you do an analysis of the soil there, you can't find any worm, there is no earthworm, there is no bacteria, there is nothing in that soil, then it means that what you are doing is causing harm to the biodiversity, and it means that your enterprise is not sustainable. So for your enterprise to be sustainable, you must be able to satisfy all these 3 key concepts. So now we are going to take a look at how livestock contributes to climate change. And livestock contribute to climate change in 3 methods. So we have the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. So we are going to be looking at how livestock contributes to greenhouse gas emission or climate change across all these 3 scopes. So now, the scope 1 is just typically telling us that, okay, you are contributing directly to climate change, which means you have overall control on these emissions. So this emission includes, let's say you are keeping a cattle. So the methane that your cattle emit from their GIT, gastrointestinal tract, is actually scope 1 emission. It is something that through good husbandry practices, you can actually reduce it. So the feces and the urine that they excrete, they are part of the scope 1 emission as well, because at the end of the day, they produce nitrous oxide, methane, and all. So these are things that you have absolute control over, and they contribute to greenhouse gas emission. These are scope 1. And scope 2 is just basically telling us that these are the greenhouse gas that you emit in an effort to generate energy for your enterprise. So let's say, for example, you want to get energy for your farm. You want to milk your cattle. You want to incubate your egg. All these activities. The process of you getting electricity to get these activities done. So the emission that is generated in the process of generating this energy that you want to use are actually your own scope 2 emission. And scope 3 is telling us that, okay, these are the emissions that you have no control over. In fact, you might not even be aware that these things is actually happening. So you have already sold your product, let's say an egg, to someone, and by chance the person didn't have the time to cook the egg, and over time the egg got bad and the person just put the egg out. So now, in the process of decaying, whatever greenhouse gas emission that this egg is producing is termed as your own scope 3 emission. So these are the 3 methods that our livestock enterprise can actually contribute to climate change. So now, let's take a look at what is now the impacts of climate change on livestock production. So principally, like the previous facilitator already explained, that climate change, it increases the atmospheric temperature, and by this it actually causes stress. And we all know that as a livestock keeper, if there is heat stress in your farm, you have a very low productivity. You have reduced milk production, reduced egg production. Your cattle that you keep for beef, they will not do well. They will lose weight, they will be emaciated, and same thing goes for other livestock as well. So this is one of the effects. And also, climate change also affects weather pattern. You will not know when it is going to rain. You will not know when, even if the rain is going to be heavy, if it's going to cause a flood, and you will now starting to have longer drought. So these are the side effects of climate change. And if there's heavy rain, there's drought, it will definitely affect your livestock enterprise. So another thing that we have that is probably not related to climate change, but of course it has a very huge economic impact on livestock production, is the nitrogen deposition. So this nitrogen deposition, a lot of livestock enterprise owners are actually guilty of this. And this is basically saying that we do not dispose of our waste properly. And let's say you have a huge hill of feces from your poultry animal, and you don't know what to do with it, so you just put it somewhere, you just dump it somewhere. So now, in that process, the nitrogen concentration in that feces will gradually enter into the soil, and before you know it, it will make its way into the ocean or any nearby stream, and this will actually affect the quality of life of all the microorganisms, be it fish, tadpole, whatever it is, to affect them, because it will start to dissolve the oxygen that's available for the aquatic life. So, and if this is actually happening, it means that your enterprise is not sustainable, and you are contributing negatively, to the quality of lives and that of the biodiversity around you. So now let's let's discuss about how do we now ensure that whatever we do is actually contributing positively to the environment, so that we do not contribute to climate change. So number one is that we can do is efficient breeding management. So now I'll give an instance in this case. So let's say you are keeping cattle. The aim and objective of every cattle owner is to keep producing more milk, more beef. And if you want to do that, what you need to do naturally that will come to you is that, okay, I need to get more cow to get more milk. Why not look at an efficient whereby you get you inseminate your cow with a semen from exotic bulls. So by doing this, you have F1 cows that can give you more milk. So in this case, you don't need to get plenty cows to give you more milk. You just need to manage your breeding very well. Then you get more milk, and you will now stop, or you will mitigate the emission that should have come from a lot of cows that you have in your herd. In fact, if you have probably 50 cows that are giving you 20 liters of milk per day, better than you having 100 cows that's giving you 2 liters of milk per day. So these are actually some dynamics that we can consider to actually prevent greenhouse gas emission from our livestock enterprise. And also, we can look at integrated mode of farming. So integrated mode of farming is saying that nothing should actually waste from your agricultural enterprise. We can also link this into circular economy, which is just saying that if you are keeping poultry, nothing from that poultry enterprise should go to waste. If it is the feces, you can turn it into biogas to generate gas, for energy on your farm. You can use the gas to generate heat for the small chicks when you are brooding them, and the feather too. You can use the feather to do some sort of biochar or some fertilizer. You can even use it as a form of feed for fish and other livestock. So what this is just practically saying is that nothing should actually go to waste from your enterprise. If you are keeping fish, instead of you just allowing the fish water to just flow out, and cause nuisance smelling around, you can channel it into probably a vegetable farm, a rice farm. You can use that to a productive use rather than just letting it affect the quality of life of people around you. Remember, we said that for your enterprise to be sustainable, it must contribute positively to the quality of life of people around you. So these are the methods of that you can actually adopt to enhance the sustainability and, of course, to reduce the carbon footprint of your livestock enterprise. And to conclude, livestock husbandry, it is certain that it contributes to greenhouse gas emission, and of course, it is also a beneficiary of the adverse effect of climate change itself. So what we need to do to curb this unhealthy cycle is just to be intentional and to commit to developing practices and measures that will mitigate greenhouse gas emission and carbon footprint of our livestock enterprise. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of this insight that you have given us. Thank you, and I'm sure everybody is saying thank you in the comment section already. If you have not started saying thank you, please start saying that. All right. So we're having a lot of thank you. Some of us clapping our hands and all that. Thank you so much, Hafiz. Like I earlier stated, please, the question and answer segment will be at the end of the last speaker's presentation, so we are able to manage our time effectively. So please, if you are a French speaker, there is the availability for French interpretation. So please just click on the interpretation and click on French, and you'll start listening in French, really. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Some people are already raising their hands. Let's wait for the next speaker to finish presenting, and then we'll give the floor for people that have questions. So quickly, I'll share my screen again to read the next speaker's bio. And yes. So yes, so the next speaker is Emmanuel C. Akpelu. Is the North Central Business Sales Executive for Agricare Standard Plus Limited. Emmanuel Chukwueke Akpelu is a seasoned agricultural economist with a decade of expertise in regenerative, climate-smart agriculture and nanobiotechnology. As North Central Business Sales Executive at Agricare Standard Plus Limited, he leverages his knowledge to promote sustainable agricultural practices and cutting-edge technologies. Notably, Emmanuel has empowered Nigerian farmers, particularly in the North Central states, to maximize profit and mitigate losses through the strategic application of nanobiotechnology crop inputs. Emmanuel's experience also includes serving as an agripreneur facilitator for IFAD-sponsored projects with the Africa Project Development Center in Abuja. Additionally, he has worked as a crop protection expert at JICE Agrosciences and has provided consulting services to numerous established firms across Nigeria. With a resounding applause in the comment section, let us welcome Emmanuel to the virtual podium. Good afternoon, Emmanuel. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, thank you for that introduction. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to go straight to the point. Like you all know, my name is Emmanuel. Please, I'd like to confirm if I'm audible enough for everyone to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name, okay. This afternoon, I'm going to continue from where the first and the second speaker have spoken. The first speaker spoke on aquaculture and fisheries. The second speaker spoke on livestock. So I'll be narrowing my facilitation in crop production as the agronomy aspect. Now, they've spoken quite a lot, and also they've also, as if they also copied part of my presentation. But then I still have to see what I got to say. The topic remains adaptation and mitigation strategies in crop production. Like we all know, agricultural production is going to face increasing challenges due to changing climate, as well as degraded, and the resources the farming has also been scarce due to not just climate change, economic inflation, and all of that. So to ensure long-term sustainability, farmers and agribusinesses must adopt strategies that both to change environmental conditions and mitigate negative impacts on our ecosystem. Adaptation focuses on adjusting farming practices so as to withstand climate variability, while mitigating aims to reduce the greenhouse emissions and enhance carbon sequestration. Now, the key strategies for adaptation and mitigation remains three. One is regenerative agriculture. So I would like to share my screen so you're able to see my slide as well. 1 minute, please. One minute, please. So I share my screen. Okay. Wow, my slides refuse to play on my system, but let me continue, please. Strategies remains carbon farming. One, I said regenerative agriculture. Then number two, in regenerative agriculture, it has to do with a holistic approach that restores soil health, enhances biodiversity, and improves ecosystem resilience. Like the second speaker rightly said, when you are doing farming, whether aquaculture or livestock or even crop production, and if what you are doing is affecting the soil health or the environmental health, then it is not sustainable. So when we talk about regenerative agriculture, it has to be a holistic farming approach that will restore soil health, enhance that biodiversity, and improve the ecosystem resilience. I think that is one of the crusade of this training, the ecosystem resilience. Our ecosystem needs to be protected at all costs. So it's a key strategy for both adaptation and mitigation. It helps farmers to maintain productivity despite climate change while reducing emissions and improving soil carbon sequestration. Now, the key practices for this regenerative agriculture. Number one is to minimize soil disturbance. Because we all know in production, most farms, especially those who do large acreage, they do without disturbing the soil, without soil disturbance. They must use okay, I don't know if I can share my. I'm finding it difficult to share my screen. I don't know why. Maybe for my device. Or should I just go ahead and continue?
If you're finding it difficult, I think you should go ahead and probably share the slides with us afterwards so that we can share with participants.
Okay, let me continue then. Okay, so minimal soil disturbance. By the time the soil is being disturbed by these heavy machines, it causes soil erosion, and it causes soil erosion. Then the ability of the soil to also retain water for farming is also there, because there's the ability of the soil to hold water will not be there because the soil is no more loose due to the compression of these heavy machines on the soil. So with regenerative agriculture, we will be able to minimize this soil disturbance, because we don't really need these heavy machines again in our farmlands for us to till. And again, when we don't need these heavy machines again, this idea of soil erosion will not be there. And again, our soil will be free and loose, so they retain water. And also, microbial health is also promoted because these heavy machines also distort the cohabitation of microbial organisms in the soil. That is why, if you take a good example of North Central region, where I'm very, very conversant with, most of the soils are dead, as good as say dead, because there's no life living in it. You hardly microbial organisms, just like as at old, because of the kind of crude farming practice that these farmers have used in their farm or carried out on their farm over time. So this is one of the importance of regenerative agriculture. Now, number two on my list, I have cover cropping. So with regenerative agriculture, cover cropping is also encouraged. By the time you do cover cropping, helps to prevent soil erosion because the crops are covered. So from erosion when there is because the use of that also was mitigated. There are also crop rotation and diversification. Abundance of land, farmers ignorantly practice crop rotation, in the sense that when they go back to plant again, they must have gone to several other places. It takes them like 3, 4, 5 years before they repeat a particular land again for them to plant. So that practice, even though it is old, is also a way of making the soil safe to promote healthy farming. Then organic matter enrichment. Most farmers, although few, do this. Before they plant, like a month or two before they plant, they apply biochar, livestock manure, poultry manure, cow dung, pig dung. They apply them on their farmland. like 1 to 3 months before they start even doing land preparation. This practice is very healthy because it helps to, one, improve the soil health as well as replenish the lost soil nutrients. Then the key strategies for adaptation in this mitigation in agriculture, number 2 is adaptation benefits. It helps to increase resilience to drought and floods. By the time you do cover cropping, you do crop rotation, when there is flood and drought, your farmland may not really be affected. Even if it is affected, you cannot use it to compare people that don't do this kind of practice. Of course, your soil is will also be fertile because your soils are not overused. Because overusage of soil makes it very, very, very easy for the soil to deplenish. For example, in Niger, you will notice that farmers, for example, let's say last season now, they use 5 bags of NPK and 2 bags of urea for, let's use an example of rice. A case study is the area of Wushishi, 2 bags of NPK, 2 bags of urea to farm their rice. And let's assume they get 4 tons per hectare. For them to get 4 tons per hectare in this current season, they must increase the quantity of fertilizer that they will apply. So if they use 5 bags of NPK last year and 2 bags, this year they must use at least 8 bags of NPK, 7 to 8 bags of NPK, and maybe 3 to 4 bags of urea for them to get the same yield they got last year. Otherwise, they cannot get it. They cannot get the same yield. I'm not even talking about increase in yield. So that is the challenges that farmers have climate change. And now the mitigation benefit is sequesters atmospheric carbon in soil biomass. Now, the adaptation benefit is this. Most crop input when your technology cannot solve problem, then it's not beneficial. Please confirm if I'm audible. I just got a message that they can't hear me.
We couldn't hear you at some point, but I think you have come up again.
Thank God.
It's slow again. We can't hear anything now.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's better now.
All right. So most crop input producers now have also gone back to the drawing board because of the challenge posed by climate. So they've gone back to the drawing board to see how they can also help farmers, because when we talk about use of poultry dung, it is not also enough, especially for heavy feeder crops like rice and maize. It's not, poultry dung alone cannot do the job. That's why most farmers shy away from going organic, because they have tested organic farming and they see that what they normally get in yield is low compared to when they go with the conventional or chemical synthetic method of farming. Crop input producers have also gone back to the drawing board to also see how they can adapt to this change, to climatic change, and they've also come up with solutions. A good example is also from us at Agricare. So they have also gone to produce fertilizers that also capture, that is sequesters atmospheric carbon, that capture atmospheric carbon, nitrogen, and after capturing it, fix it to the soil for crop use. So farmers should also make use of this technology. Like when I was introduced, these technologies also induced by technology as well. So when you make use of this technology, it will help your yield. Because most problem with farmers is adaptation. Most farmers are laggards. They are very slow to adopting new technologies. They are very, very relaxed. They rely on the old method, like the use of NPK and urea. That's just what they are conversant with, and they are very lazy to try other methods. So use of these innovative crop inputs that will help to capture the atmospheric nitrogen, carbon, and fix it back to the soil for crop use is also one of the methods that farmers should adopt. Now, another good thing that farmers should adopt, because there was a challenge in Niger State last year in crop production. Most farmers that plant soya bean had losses. Most farmers that plant, because that's why it's also good for us to follow up with this weather prediction. Although sometimes it also fails, but it's also good for us to follow, because it also gives us an avenue to be well informed while making our drawing up our calendar for farming. So most farmers that plant, after planting, the rain stopped for up to 3 months, and many of them suffered what we call diebacks. Most of their seeds suffered diebacks. So spend money again to replant. And by the time they plant, the time frame, soybean is also time bound. The time for replanting is also far gone. So they incurred losses, not even post-harvest losses. They incurred losses even before sprouting. So these are challenges, as well as for you to come kind of challenge, because farmers really want to plant. So now what do you do to beat up this climatic challenge? One of the things you can look up to is also technology. And one of the technology is embarking on what we call the rhizosphere. We all know that rhizosphere is the root region. So there's a technology that can assist farmers before you plant. You coat your seed with this. It is made up of the mycorrhizal fungi. The help of the mycorrhizal fungi is to assist the seeds to get the needed humidity they need to survive droughts. So that when you plant and there's no rainfall, your seeds will survive. How does this work? It works with the help of microbes called mycorrhizal fungi, Trichoderma, Bacillus, and the rest of the fungi found in the soil. So when these fungi go to the depth of the soil to get the needed humidity that the seeds need to survive that drought period. So I'm encouraging our participants and our trainees to also look out for those technology. It will really be of immense help. I think that's one of the mandates of this training, for us to get our hands on this technology. So another thing again, so I don't know with too much talk, is precision farming. Precision farming is somehow not possible without the use of technology. It is technology that can enhance precision in agriculture, in the sense that before you plant, you already drop your map, you already drop your map, your plans. Then you already know what you are to get when you use XYZ crop inputs. That's precision farming. But the challenge also posed by this climate of a thing, it becomes somewhat difficult. So that's why you must get your acts right, from land preparation down to application of crop inputs to planting, application of fertilizers. Most times you might even apply fertilizers, but this will not be readily utilized by the crop, because the climate, the kind of rainfall that fall, quality of the water of the release of harmful gases. So it has also affected the soil structure as well, the soil structure, the soil texture. So for us to have precision agriculture, you also have to use inputs that will also enhance the release of these nutrients for the crops to be able to utilize them. If not, no matter the amount of fertilizer you put, your crop will not. There will be too bogus for your plant to utilize. So we should leverage on technology to optimize inputs, water, fertilizer, and our pesticide to improve efficiency, thereby also reducing environmental impact, because most times you don't really need too much fertilizer. That's why I also encourage farmers, before they go into farming, they should carry out soil samples they should do soil, they should carry out soil analysis. Soil analysis will help them to know the soil structure, the soil texture, and also the available nutrients in the soil. So it is with the result of the soil analysis that will not help them that will not help them to be able to make informed decision on the amount of nutrients to apply. Most times they don't even need to apply nutrients. Imagine a soil with very high nitrogen content, phosphorus content, and potassium content, and you yourself now you're not carrying, high amount of nitrogen again and infusing on the soil. You see, it's like counterfeit. It's like pouring water inside an ocean. So it doesn't really make much sense. So, but carrying out soil analysis will also help you to be able to know what nutrients that particular soil needs or lacks. So you're able to know the quantity you have to use. So when you do that, you're able to save cost. That's number one, which is important. You are able to save cost. The use of that. So only technology can give you that. Now, the key technologies and practices. Number one is GPS guided machinery, which ensures accurate planting. Accurate planting is very, very important as well, because with accurate planting, you're able to know the accurate number of planting population. It's only technology that can give you that, for you to know the number of plant population you have to plant, seed population you have to plant, the quantity of water that is needed, and the irrigation practices, and the irrigation method to also adopt. Then number two is remote sensing and drones. Although this part of Africa, most of us are not buoyant enough to also to get this technology, which is also a limiting factor. But then it's also one of the key technologies that we must use for us to get precision agriculture. The use of remote sensors, able to monitor our crops. We're also able to and assess soil moisture levels. So another key technology that we need is variable rate technology, which help to adjust input application rates based on real-time data, like I earlier mentioned. And when we do that, we're able to reduce waste. Then automated irrigation system, which will help us to optimize water usage and prevent overwatering. We all know that some crops are not tolerant to overwatering. So we're able to optimize the required quantity of water that we use for the optimal growth of our crops. So another key technology practice is data and AI. Because AI and data analytics will help us predict climatic patterns, also on how to guide us on how to do adaptive decision. Because for farmers that depend on data from the NIMET and from AI on the weather conditions, they're able to make informed decisions. For example, now in some areas the rain has drizzled. Some persons will just rush to go and plant. They don't really have the information if the rains will continue. Imagine you planting because of this early downpour. You go and plant and the rain stops. And after the rain stops, the rain did not fall again. You have already planted. Definitely, you will experience dieback from your seeds, just like the farmers I mentioned in Niger State experienced when they planted their soybean. So these are the factors. These are the issues. Now, adaptation benefits. Number one is on my list is reducing chance of predictable by optimizing resource use. Number two is to enhances resilience through early detection of pests, diseases, and drought stress. Mitigation benefits. One is reduces excessive fertilizer use, minimizing nitrous oxide emissions. Next is lowers fuel consumption by optimizing machinery operations. Then in conclusion, adopting regenerative agriculture, carbon farming, and precision farming as adaptation and mitigation strategies in production ensures sustainable agriculture. These methods help farmers cope with climate change while reducing emissions, enhancing environmental health. Governments, agribusinesses, and farmers must collaborate to promote these practices through incentives, education, and technologies to achieve global security and climate resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for all of that insight. Thank you so much. So let's say thank you to Mr. Emmanuel in the comment section. Now, this is the time everybody is waiting for to ask questions. I'm seeing some hands already raised. So we'll just call on the first few people that raised their hands so that we can get the questions across to our facilitators. Please, if you're raising your hand and you want to ask a question, please direct the question to the facilitator you're asking, whether the first speaker, the second, or the third speaker, or you can just mention, call them by their names and ask them directly, so the questions are not all over the place. Thank you so much. So the first hand here is Udi Joshua. So I'm asking Udi Joshua to unmute and ask. Udi Joshua, I see that your video is on as well. I'm asking you to unmute and ask a question. Okay, so if Udi is not ready yet, Ukeme Anwan, please unmute and ask.
Okay, I really thank all the presenters so that I will not mistakenly call a wrong name. I really thank presenters, and I want to channel my question to the last presenter on crop, the climate change on crop. I attended a meeting some days ago, and during that meeting, it was a pitch that climate
Is it my network is like you're breaking? Mr. Emmanuel, can you hear the questions? Let me be sure. Okay. So, Ukeme, maybe you might have to raise your hand again, and we'll ask you to unmute and ask your question, but the network was really glitching, we couldn't hear anything. Kabiru Ajani Adebayo, please unmute and ask.
All right, thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, go ahead.
All right, I'm Kabiru Ajani Adebayo from Ghana. So I really want to appreciate and thank the presenters, even though I joined a little bit late. I couldn't capture the first, second speaker presentation. But the last speaker, my question to him is this. You know, to combat food insecurity in Africa, we need to maximize productivity. But if we are speaking against maximize tillage, that is every use of machine. So now I'm now looking at what else can we do to be able to maximize our productivity, because we all believe that when you use machine, you are able to do a lot that can give you a lot from your farm. That's my first question. Second one, you talk about some case in Niger State where farmers planted soya beans very early. Eventually, the rain that came up stopped, and then the seeds got rotten. But it offered a recommendation or solution that we can do to probably maybe prevent or avoid that kind of situation. I didn't get that clearly. If you could kindly repeat or maybe go over that particular solution he stated in his presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Sorry, you will help me with his first question.
Okay, so this first question, he asked that if we are preaching against tillage and all of that, the use of all of these big machines and all that, what solution do you have to maximizing productivity or production? Since if we want to do in mass, always look towards machines and all that. Did you hear me?
Yes, I got you. Okay. I gave a problem. I mentioned the problem which we all know and which we all are seeing. And I also offered the solution. Yeah, so what we have to do is also to compare and to contrast. Why we may not entirely phase out the use of heavy machines, but we can as well reduce the use of the heavy machines, because the heavy machines for now, we don't really have what it takes to phase them all out, but we can actually reduce their usage. For example, tractor, the harrower and the plow, we can use them for land preparation. What about the planter? There are also machines Hello? Can you hear me?
We couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you at all. It's like your network hung at some points.
Okay. All right, let me rephrase. The idea is to reduce the impact or the usage of heavy machines because of the negative effects of these heavy machines on the environment and also on the soil. Remember the definition of the topic. If it is not sustainable, then it is not worth it. So it has to be sustainable. The heavy machines, the over-dependence of heavy machines on our farmland is not sustainable, because these heavy machines releases poisonous emissions environment, which also affects our climate. That's not all. These heavy machines also impact negatively on our soil texture and structure, because they compact our soils, making our soil very hard, not loose enough to be able to retain water for our crops. So would you rather use heavy machines and incur more problems, or you would want to use it minimally and get more gains from your farmland? So I leave you with the answer. So to your second question, yes, this problem of drought is a problem.
Mr. Emmanuel, if you're still speaking, we cannot hear you. Could this be network? Okay. While we wait for Mr. Emmanuel to restore his network, we'll just quickly take other questions. So there's another hand raised, Alozi David. Please, I'm asking you to unmute and ask your question. Please, if you can also help us, please drop some of your questions in the comment section so that we can just read them out to help manage our time. All right, David, please go ahead. Who is speaking?
Good day, my David, ma. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
This is David from Nigeria. My question goes to the second speaker and the agronomy, that is the third speaker. So my question is that
the third speaker's network is quite bad, and so he may not be available to answer your question. Let's just wait for him to come back, and then we'll allow you to ask your questions.
Let me livestock specialist.
Or you are channeling the question to the livestock specialist. All right, please go ahead.
All right, now it's concerning the use of animal waste to improve our crop yield and crop produce. Now, then it was said that the use of it.
Sorry. I'm back, I beg.
Okay, David, maybe you should hold on a while so that Mr. Emmanuel can complete what he's saying. Sorry about that. All right, Mr. Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Okay,
We had to go to another question because your network went off, but please go ahead and round off.
Okay. I think I've answered the first question, have I?
Yes, please. It's the second one.
Okay, the second one is that, like I said, mentioned earlier, climate change has come to stay, and drought is one of the negative effects suffered by farmers as regards climate change. Now, most companies, Agricare, for an example, has gone to the drawing board to see how can they provide this solution to farmers, because since drought has come to stay, especially in the north, how can they help farmers to combat this issue of drought? Now, they now check, because plants is made of two segments, the rhizosphere and the phyllosphere. The rhizosphere is the root region, while the phyllosphere is the upper region, where that houses the stem down to the leaves and the fruits. So for the rhizosphere, that's the root region, all that is needed for the plant to survive is for the roots to be okay. Now, what they do, so many activities takes place in the root region, so many microbial activities. They now thought about it that, okay, what if they do what we call just like the idea of the vaccine? They just get mycorrhizal fungi, they get bacillus, and they get trichoderma. They bring up these living organisms together to form a product, a biological product that will now help. The function of this product is that it goes, when you coat your seed with these products, these microorganisms now, they are beneficial. They will now go down underneath the soil to get the needed humidity that your seed needs to survive when there's drought. So when there's drought, is why other seeds will be dying. These seeds now, this mycorrhizal fungi, inoculum of mycorrhizal fungi, trichoderma, and bacillus now will now go deep down in the soil, get the needed humidity, and supply it to your seed, and your seed now will survive. So if you are looking for the products, I think there are many. Most of them are in the market, but not really in the open market, because farmers are really slow to adopting new technologies. But it's called Actiseed, so you can search for it, Actiseed. But Agricare has it. Yeah, so the name of the product is Actiseed. Not only that, most times, maybe, okay, for example, now you have planted and your crops have also sprouted and there's no rainfall and you don't have any irrigation materials to supply water to your plants. How do you now still do it? There are also products, nanotechnology-based products in terms of fertilizers, that these microorganisms are also infused in them. So when you apply them on your crop, they also help your crop to look very greenish, and they will also do very well vegetatively because of the presence of these microorganisms. So these microorganisms will help to sustain them till the rain drops. Although you cannot also compare the way they will. You can also compare the way they would do with adequate rainfall, but at least it will help you to minimize loss. That's the idea. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we'll just go back to David for his question. Sorry for asking you to hold on. David, please unmute and just quickly share. I've asked you to unmute, David. All right.
Okay. Now, like I said earlier on, our question goes to the agronomists and the livestock specialists.
Please, can you be more audible? Or can barely hear you. Your voice is low.
My question goes to the livestock specialists and the agronomists in the house. Now, in recent time or in the past, we discovered the effective of livestock waste the use of livestock waste as fertilizer. And then what was done then is that it's been applied earlier before the crop is being planted for its effective yield and that. Now, what to ask is that what is research, animal scientists and agronomists, what is the research going on to improve, to reduce the length period to which this animal waste is being used and the chemicals being available for crops, because they are trying to encourage the use of organic fertilizer, and then we staying for that long period before these chemicals will be available to the crops, then I think it's a disadvantage to we farmers. Instead of that, we'll go through the use of normal chemicals. So what are research been doing? Are we still on the old method that you have to apply organic manure for 3 months before we can have chemicals, the elements available for crops? What is there anything now currently? This is my question.
All right, thank you so much. I think this question is for Hafiz. Hi, Hafiz, are you still on the call?
Yes, I am on the call. I'm sorry for I was actually on another call. Sorry about that.
But did you get the question?
I did not.
Okay, so he was asked, maybe I should just allow him narrate again. Please be brief about it.
That question is for crop. It's actually for crop.
Okay, so crop, you want to answer? All right.
Yes,
all right.
For crop. So he was talking about when I mentioned, I said he was talking about the time, the patience for farmers to, during my facilitation.
Yes, and the research ongoing.
Yes, during my facilitation, I made emphasis that most farmers apply poultry dung and animal dungs on their farmland like 1 to 3 months before they start doing land preparation. So he was asking about the research that is ongoing so as to kind of reduce the time frame for that. Now, let me answer your question now. See, one thing about agriculture is that most people do it without having the basic knowledge of what they are doing. They do it because they just copy people do. They just copy, and they just once they copy, they just copy and paste. You understand? So, but the essence of this training is to make people to relearn and unlearn their practice. That's the basis of this training. You relearn, learn and unlearn. Now, if most farmers too, during land preparation, or even when they have planted, go ahead and apply poultry manure. But the question is, at the time you apply your poultry manure, of what effect is it to your crops? That's the question you also ask yourself. Of what effect is that manure that you have applied on your farmland? Of what effect it is to your crop? Now, poultry manure, when applied on the soil, must undergo or undergoes some processes, so some decomposition processes. That's why we have what we call compost. So if you're not patient enough to do your compost and you apply, you must give it time. It's not about research. You understand? You must give it time. We should not always be in a hurry. That's why we should plan. Because if you don't plan well, you also plan to fail. But like there's hope. If you research on the word trichoderma, trichoderma is a microorganism that helps to speed up processes. When you apply trichoderma in anything, if you apply trichoderma in waste, it will help to decompose that waste very fast. So when you apply trichoderma on poultry dung, it will help to speed up the activities going up or the composition process of that poultry dung. It will help to hasten up the process of decomposition and every other metabolic process that is required for you to release the available nutrients to the soil so that the crop will be able to eat from it. So, like these products that I've mentioned too, contains trichoderma. If you listen vividly when I made emphasis on the active seed that is being applied on the soil. So just note that. So if you're not patient enough to apply your poultry dung 3 months before you plant, then you can get active crop, which is also a fertilizer. That contains trichoderma. When you apply it, it will help to hasten up the decomposition process of the poultry dung. Otherwise, the crop that will benefit from that poultry dung that you have spread on your farm is not that present crop that you have planted. It is the next cycle that you're going to plant. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll just take some of the questions in the comment section, and then some of the questions here are for the first speaker, Dr. Philip, sir. So we have these questions for you. This person is asking that in terms of adaptation, is it good to dig fish ponds near wetlands without any use of artificial structure? That's one. Then the other question says, in integrated fish farming, can we integrate fish with poultry, as in the case of fish with rice or vegetable farms? Hello, sir, Doctor.
Okay. Hello.
Yes,
I've already responded in the comment section, but all this is possible. Like in the integrated, in my slide, we have integrated poultry, fish. You can do it either direct or indirect. The one I showed in the slide was the direct one. The indirect one is where you have your poultry house, your fish pond is separate. So when you collect the poultry weight, you drop in your pond. The direct one is where you construct your fish poultry house on top of the pond. So it's possible. We have it in our place here. Although in Nigeria, the adoption is still very low, but it's possible. We are doing it. It's here. Then the other one, the construction of the wetland. Like I said, many fish farmers are now going to where we have lowland areas, wetland, because of water availability throughout the year. So they dig earthen pond. You don't need to do concrete pond there. Or if you want to go to use the water body, you do cage culture. So earthen pond is common. But the implication there is that what? Like I said, you must have some knowledge of the rainfall pattern and the flooding pattern, so that you can stock your fish in such a way that before the flood, heavy rainfall starts, you must have harvested your fish, or before the flooding will start, you must have harvested your fish. If not, it's a big risk, like most people. So if you are wetland area is where people are going. Even recently in Uganda, they were quarreling. Farmers are going to wetland because of the water. So they were quarreling with the people who are in the conservation area, that they are destroying the place. In Nigeria, it's a common practice. People, all the most wetland areas in our place, lowland areas, they have bought them. It has made those land to go as much as even more than 200,000 high in cost of land. In most communities here, most of the wetland places, fishermen that have bought them. So that's where they establish their cluster farms. The people come together to establish their cluster farm. And in that place, another advantage they have is that they practice flow-through system, which help them to control water quality easily. In this, from the connect pumping machine to the nearby stream, from there they get their water to the pond. And then they have, through outlet, the water goes and discharges to the wetland. So in that part, they don't have much issue with water quality. But the issue, because of climate change, instead of using generator, it will be better if they can start using solar-powered water pump to avoid the same pollution and the rest of them, and then managing the water very well. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's the much we can take today. Our time is really fast spent. Thank you so much, Dr. Philip. And I've seen that most of the questions have also been answered in the comment section as well. That's really beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Philip. Thank you, Afiz, and thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. So if you still have other questions that you want to ask, you might have to send it to us, maybe via email or to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group, and then we'll try to share with the facilitator that you want to share, ask the question, and they will try to get the answers back to you so as to not waste our time. So thank you very much. But before we let our facilitators go, we'll quickly do our normal thing, which you all know already. We want to take the group photograph, the family picture with our facilitators. In case you see them anywhere, you have an evidence that yes, you were in a session where they facilitated and all that. So quickly, let's put on our videos and then our best smiles so that we can have the photo session with our facilitators before they leave. So yes, thank you very much for everyone that is already putting on their videos. Thank you so much. And yes, I think so many videos are on now. Thank you. Yeah, I know that my colleagues are already taking the pictures and they will try to share with you, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for putting on your videos. A lot of videos are on, like, this is really beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. You should, when we share these pictures with you, you should also share them in your social media pages and tag us. Yes, tag us. All right, thank you so much, everyone. For those of you that have put on your videos, we appreciate this. And then to our facilitators, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much for this session. So quickly, we'll go to the portal walkthrough. And for portal walkthrough, because we've already done portal walkthrough before with a number of you, what we would like to do now is to just entertain maybe 1 or 2 questions from the portal. So if you have an issue with logging into the portal or something, you can just raise your hand now. Please, not the ones raising hands for to ask facilitators questions. This one is for portal. If you have an issue with the portal, please raise your hand and then I will call you to ask your question. So Peter Ruben, kindly on. Peter Ruben, kindly unmute and ask your question. All right, Peter Ruben, I ask that you unmute and ask. Are you there? I cannot hear you. Oh, okay. So let's go to the next person. The next person is Glenn Mavuso Eswatini. All right, please go ahead and ask.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My question is, when you have forgotten your password for logging in, what can you do then to make sure that you also log again with the password that you had created again? Thank you.
Okay, so when you just open the link, you click on the link, you will see in that page, you will see forget password. Click on the forget password and then it will ask you to input your email address. Input your email address and then a reset password link will be sent to that email for you to reset your password. All right, thank you so much. So before we continue, before I allow other people ask their questions, we just quickly want to take like a short poll right now. So please, the poll will be launched and then you see it appear on your screen. Kindly just answer as you're seeing them. Okay, yes, so the poll is on. Please help us answer these questions that you're seeing on your screen. And so, all right, yes. Thank you. I'm seeing some people already engaging the poll. Thank you so much. Thank you for engaging. Thank you. So we'll just give a while for you to answer. I see that about 40 people have completed the poll. Okay, 50, all right, 60, okay, 70, we have 80. Please, let's complete the poll. It's actually very important for us so that we'll be bringing quality LIS to you every week. This helps us to organize and plan better. Thank you so much. Oh, about 110 people, all right? Thank you so much for engaging the poll. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, I have 125 people. Please, let's go on and answer the questions. I have over 200 people on the call. So we are not even up to half that taking the poll yet. So please, let's take it. Let's take it. Thank you so much. Thank you for engaging. Thank you. This is really important to us. And to the quality of fellas we'll be bringing your way. Thank you. I want to have like 150 people take the poll before we'll take it down. And then, all right, thank you so much. But it's still around 140. Let's engage. I'll just wait for some few more minutes. No, not minutes, maybe seconds. Yes, I have only 145 that I've taken. Please, let's engage. If you're seeing the poll on your screen, please answer the questions. It's just to tick and then that's it. It's not complicated at all. It's just to tick. And then we don't have 150 yet. Sorry, that's why I'm still waiting. Okay. Please, let's just engage. The more the merrier, right? The more the better. Thank you for everyone that's engaging. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I don't know, maybe I should still just leave the poll on the screen while I allow someone on mute and ask their question. So I'll just mute now and allow somebody. Pius Madoshi, please go ahead and ask your question. Pius, I'm not seeing Pius anymore. Okay, so Blessed Bernard, please go ahead. I'm asking you to unmute and ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Great, thank you very much for the sessions. I think since the beginning I've been having trouble to log into the portal for the other assignment and trainings, and I really needed help. So I was inquiring whether there is anyone specific that we can talk to for guidance and help along that, just to understand further on the other side of the portal and how to engage with it. And
yes,
then, of
please,
course,
yes. Okay.
We registered through an organization, and I needed to understand, so how many people in the organization can participate in the program, bearing in mind that we are using one email for registration. So can still individual within the same organization engage and participate more than one? But more importantly, just needed help to get into the portal. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that question. So what you need to do is to either engage any of the admins in the WhatsApp group if you're in the WhatsApp group, but if you're not in the WhatsApp group yet, you can send us an email at braze@afcorp.org. That is the same email that we have been using to communicate with you. You can use that email and reach out to us. And then when we see your mail, we'll definitely answer you and guide you through how you can navigate the portal. So for the issue around using an organization name and all that, so probably have this conversation with you to see whether you can give us the names of the people in your organization, and then if they have email addresses, then they might have to input their email addresses, because the portal is capturing it automatically. The portal is the one that will be delivering your certificates to you. That means at the end of everything, you go back to that portal to download your certificates. So if your profile, your credentials are not in the portal, you may not be able to download certificates. So we'll be needing the names and then the email address of the people in your organization that would like to participate, and then we'll take it from there. So please, I'm sorry, this is the much I could take with questions around the portal. So if you have other questions around the portal that you want to ask, feel free to engage any of the admins in the WhatsApp group, and we will sure answer you and give you guidance as to how you can navigate the portal, or you can send us email at grace@afchub.org. We'll definitely answer you. So quickly, thank you so much for all of you that engaged the poll. So I'm ending the poll right now. Thank you so much. So quickly, I'll invite the membership team to quickly take us through the membership drive. Like we always say, the BRACE program is not all that AFC offers. There is so much more to it. And then this is the point where you get to learn about other things that you can benefit as a program participant and also a member of the AFC org. So Ebere, if you're on the call, I'm just going to share my screen and leave this.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the silence. There's a glitch in the network, sorry. Please go ahead. Okay, so good afternoon once again, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me. Kindly drop a chat in the box. Kindly drop a message in the
We
chat
can
box so
hear
I can
you.
be sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So
we can hear
at
you.
African Food Change Makers, we are a membership community. We have a community for members across African country where everybody can come together to meet one another. As you are in Nigeria, in our membership community, you are able to meet someone from Kenya, someone from Tanzania, someone from Uganda, and thereby this can enable you to like create collaboration and also share knowledge among with each other. Also, this community also provide access to funding opportunities, access to knowledge materials, and also it also give you global market leakages. On the screen are some of the benefits and opportunities which you are going to benefit if you are a member of the AFC community. One of it is access and strengthen. It gives you the access, the strength, and abilities to scale your agribusiness. Also, it's also prepare your business to enter new African markets. It enhance your feasibility, and also it is a knowledge resource hub whereby anything you need, be it funding opportunity, like I mentioned earlier, training, access to finance, or you need data just to support what is happening, the current trend in agribusiness. You can get all of this information on the AFC hub. Also, we have a marketplace where you can upload your products on and pay other people who are not even member of the community, who are just visitors on our website, can get to see your products, make order which you are going to get directly in your DM, and thereby they can be able to like purchase your products. Please move the slide. Please, in case there's anybody on the call who is already a member of the AFC community, kindly indicate in the chat box. Let's know if you are a member. Just say I am a change maker. And also, if you are not a member yet, I'll be walking you through on how to become a member, how to join the community, whereby you can be able to access all of the opportunities which we offer. Also, if you're also a member, you get to see all other of our products, of our programs which we are doing. Aside from the BRACE program, we have the Scaling Export program, which is for people who are aiming to export their products intra-Africa, maybe between African countries and also outside of Africa. I can see a lot of people in the chat box are already saying they are change makers. Mayaki Tom, I can see you are a change maker. Bala, I can see you are a change maker. Richard, I can see you are a change maker. Please, let's keep it coming. So for everyone, every one of us who want to become a change maker, all you have to do is just to visit our website, which is www.afcup.org. As you can see it on the screen. So when you get to that page, you will click on join the community. Looking at the right side of the page, there's a link there that says join the community. Once you click on that, you will be able to see the registration form. After filling out the registration form, it takes 48 hours for us to review and to review your submission, and then we are going to approve it. Once we approve, you are going to receive an email to congratulate you, to welcome you to the hub, and also information about the dashboard. Once you log into your dashboard, the link to become a member has already been shared in the chat box. So please just click on it to take you straight to the form page. After filling the form, you get a successful notification. You automatically become a member, and also we share information on how to access your dashboard. Once you have your dashboard information, you can log into your dashboard, upload your business information, write about your business, let over 6,000 agripreneurs from African countries see what you are doing, and also all of our partners who are outside Africa, who are big organizations, our partner organizations, they will get to see what you are doing. And you can also upload your product for people to patronize you as well from your dashboard. And also, you'll be given link to join the WhatsApp community. We have a WhatsApp community to make it easy for you to join every of our program, and also to interact with other members with other members in the community. Thank you. I hope you are all trying to register right now. Please, in case you encounter any challenge while making registration, feel free to reach out to any of the admin on the BRACE group. We are going to address it and guide you through with the registration. We hope by this time next week, where we come here, a lot more would have become a change makers. Thank you. Over to you, Patience.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that membership drive. So quickly, let's establish the next steps. So please, if you have not completed your courses, log into the portal now. If you're having issues logging into the portal, please reach out to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group or send us an email. We'll definitely be there to guide you through how to log into the portal, because it's really important for you to log into the portal to be able to get certificates at the end. So please, if you have not joined the WhatsApp group, kindly join through the new link that has been sent to you via WhatsApp. Social media and tag us at @the_AFC or African Food Chain Makers in any of the platforms. Ensure you participate in the next live interactive session. It is scheduled to be held the same time next week Friday, which is 21st March 2025. So if you have any issues, like I've said, probably login or any other issue that you have pertaining to the program, you can just reach out to us via brace@afcup.org or send a DM to any of the admins in the WhatsApp session. In the WhatsApp group will be available to actually respond to you. So the next thing is, the next live interactive session is going to be on adaptation and mitigation strategies in processing and packaging. That is module 2. So ensure to go through module 2 so that module 3, sorry. Ensure to go through module 3 so that you'll be able to share your key learnings next Friday and also be able to ask questions from the facilitators. So with this, we'll wrap up for today, today's live interactive session. And thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much, and hope to see you again next week, Friday. For now, do have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, and thank you.